Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Tanvi Taneja, coming up in the next 30 minutes. India slams Canada after Ottawa terms Indian High Commissioner and other Indian diplomats as persons of interest in a case. Taiwan military on high alert as China holds drills around the island. US monitors the developments. And Indian President Droupadi Murmu highlights strong India-Algeria ties to hold bilateral meeting with her Algerian counterpart Abdelmajid Tebboune today. Up first, a story about a new beginning for empowering the Indian migrant workers. The inauguration of Emigrate V2.0 web portal and app streamlines legal migration and make it easy for those going abroad in search of overseas employment. DD India's Anil Thomas reports.
Emigrate V2.0 web portal and app launch in the national capital is a symbol of a wonderful symbiotic coordination between multiple ministries. This portal and app is now a symbol of protecting our workers in the foreign land. E-Migrate project is a transformational initiative aimed at making the e-migration process easy, organized and humane through this e-governance platform.
The launch of E-Migrate portal V2.0 is a testament to our continuing efforts to create a safer, more transparent and inclusive mobility for Indian labour and marks a significant milestone in our efforts to safeguard the welfare and interests of our citizens. It also aligns with Goal 10 of the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development Goals, which promotes facilitation of orderly, safe, regular and responsible migration and mobility of people.
This new web portal helps bridge the connect between employers and employees. It's multilingual and has linkages with multiple platforms like DigiLocker and Umang. This also removes the dangers of fake recruitment agents, as only those registered with the portal are part of it.
इंडिया में ब्रेन पावर और मैन पावर की ना कभी कमी थी ना कभी कमी है। देश के युवाओं को देश में ही नहीं लेकिन अपनी क्षमता अपनी स्किल के आधार पर उसको वैश्विक अपॉर्चुनिटी मिले और उसमें सरकार गवर्नमेंट उसको सहयोग करे, ये बहुत आवश्यक होता है.
This simplifies the e-migration journey. Now the employment seeker can check his application status, search for recruitment agent and foreign employers online. This portal and app will help submit grievances and access relevant information, all at the click of a button. Anil Thomas, DD India, New Delhi.
India's President Droupadi Murmu is in Algeria as part of a three-nation visit. President of India laid wreath at Maqam-e-Shahid Martyrs Memorial, built in honor of the martyrs of the Algerian War of Independence. The President also visited a Mujahid museum that exhibits the key stages of the armed struggle of Algerians. President Murmu took a tour then of the museum that showcases painting, weapons, archival documents and war objects that belong to the Algerian Mujahideen who fought against French colonization from 1830 to 1962. During her visit, Indian President will hold bilateral meetings with the President of Algeria and other major leaders. On the first leg of her visit, President Murmu arrived in Algeria on Sunday and was accorded a warm ceremonial welcome. As part of her three-nation visit, after Algeria, she will travel to Mauritania and Malawi, also in Africa. The US-India Strategic Partnership Forum India Leadership Summit 2024 brought together leaders from across sectors, fostering closer collaboration between business and government to strengthen public-private partnerships between the United States and India. We have a report.
We focus on how we take this.
The India Leadership Summit 2024 featured prominent speakers, including India's Minister of Education, Dharmendra Pradhan. The minister highlighted India's achievement over the past 4 years following the implementation of the National Education Policy in 2020. He emphasized that Prime Minister Narendra Modi has prioritized skill development over degrees, stressing the importance of equipping students with practical skills to enhance employability.
Last 4 years, there is a new set of digital education ecosystem in India. India is embracing new technologies for its communication, for its teachers' competency, for its pedagogy, for its curriculum, for its high-end research, for skilling.
He also remarked that NEP 2020 has paved the way for partnerships with emerging fields addressing the need for adaptability in the face of disruptive technology. He further outlined NEP's 2020's focus on multilingualism, explaining how incorporating multiple languages into the education systems could elevate India's literacy rate. Multilingualism in NEP aims to empower students from diverse backgrounds and improve accessibility to education across the country.
There are 22 scheduled languages in India. NEP is giving importance to all the 22 languages. Beyond that, NEP is recommending to produce more primer to have a link between more than 100 local languages, dialects.
Through its extensive network of over 400 global companies, USISPF continues to act as a bridge connecting public and private sectors across both economies. With discussions such as those at today's summit, the US-India partnership aims to leverage shared goals in the areas of education, technology and sustainable development, creating a pathway for a brighter future for both nations. With inputs from Kriti Vadera, Anil Thomas, DD India, New Delhi.
India has slammed Canada over a case. India's External Affairs Ministry in a statement said that it received diplomatic communication from Canada on Sunday, suggesting that the Indian High Commissioner and other diplomats are persons of interest in a matter related to an investigation in that country. In response, the Indian ministry has said that the government of India strongly rejects the preposterous imputations and ascribes them to the political agenda of the Justin Trudeau government, that it is centered around vote bank politics. The ministry also said that some individuals who have entered Canada illegally have been fast-tracked for citizenship, and multiple extradition requests from the government of India in respect of terrorists and organized crime leaders living in Canada have been disregarded. The government of India has taken cognizance of the activities of the Canada High Commission in India that serve the political agenda of the current regime. India now reserves the right to take further steps in response to these latest efforts of the Canadian government to concoct allegations against Indian diplomats.
Canada and its government led by Prime Minister Trudeau has repeatedly thrown accusations against India, the Indian officials, and this time against the Indian High Commissioner, while endangering their lives. We have seen the last time what they did, that the posters of the Indian ambassador and consul general were published by the separatist and terrorist elements in Canada, which is quite ridiculous actually for a responsible state to do so, just for myopic political ends. So there is no shred of evidence that they have shared with India. They have not come up with any viable, any proper this thing. Well, in fact, we have not forgotten what happened to Kanishka from their own land, and nothing has happened since then. They have brought in a large number of disgruntled elements and made them prosper as terrorist and extremist groups within their own country, and trying to use Canada as the base for separatist activities out of India. In fact, I don't know if the international law applies, but they should be called out for that. That is more important than what the kind of frivolous accusations that Prime Minister Trudeau unfortunately continues to make time and again. And this has brought the relationship to a really low level. And if these kind of things continue, I doubt very much that we can see a proper relationship with Canada, which is an important country and which should be on the forefront of fighting terrorism and separatism rather than indulging in as a tool of its state policies for domestic purposes.
India is all set to host one of the most significant global events in telecommunications, the World Telecommunications Standardization Assembly 2024. This prestigious event will take place in New Delhi from October 15th to 24th, bringing together over 3,000 industry leaders, policymakers and tech experts from over 190 countries. Secretary for the Department of Telecommunications, Dr. Neeraj Mittal, spoke exclusively to DD India's Tapas Bhattacharya.
Prime Minister is inaugurating this huge event. The first time this is happening, not just in India, but the whole Pacific region. Tell us more information about this and how this is expected to be a major game changer, not just for, again, India, but for the world.
Honorable Prime Minister has already set the vision for Atmanirbhar Bharat, self-reliance in technology. India has possibly amongst the handful of countries which has developed its own 4G stack. The Prime Minister also said that India has to be a leader in not only 4G but 5G, which we have already rolled out at the fastest pace in the world. And then all about going to the next level of innovation, which is 6G. And this WTSA will be setting all standards and setting the path forward for this revolutionary technology. We have roughly about 157 countries who have come here. We have large delegations from countries. We have about more than, I think, about 40 ministers who are joining us here. This is also paired with the India Mobile Congress, which is the great India's technology show in Asia Pacific region.
That was Dr. Neeraj Mittal, Secretary Telecommunications, stating that India is on the cusp of making big in 6G technology. With camera person Gaurav, this is Tapas Bhattacharya for DD India from Delhi.
World Standards Day is being observed all across the globe. Every year, the day is marked on October 14th. The theme for this year's day is on a shared vision for a better world, addressing health and well-being issues by effective standards. World Standards Day is intended to make the public aware of standards' crucial role in international marketplace. China on Monday launched military drills around Taiwan, sending jets and warships that encircled the island. With the drill, Beijing said that it aimed at sending a stern warning to separatist forces on the island. This is the fourth round of large-scale drills in the past 2 years without declaring an end date. Chinese media reported that the People's Liberation Army conducted the exercise to test the capability of its troops to coordinate across multiple arenas, mount systematic attacks and launch precision strikes. In a statement, the Chinese military's Eastern Theatre Command said that the joint Sword 2024B drills were taking place in the Taiwan Strait and areas to the north, south and east of Taiwan. It further stated that its ships and aircraft are approaching Taiwan in close proximity from different directions, focusing on sea-air combat readiness patrols, blockading key ports and areas, assaulting maritime and ground targets, and the joint seizure of comprehensive superiority. In response, Taiwan has parked its Mirage 2000 fighter jets at the Hsinchu Air Base. Condemning China's drills, Taiwan's National Security Council and Foreign Minister said that Taiwan remains moderate and will maintain peace and stability in the region.
This morning, China announced that it has carried out Joint Sword 2024B drills. This announcement came at 5 a.m. local time. This action did not comply with the international regulation that requires one to make an early announcement before a drill, and threatening another country with military power also contradict with the UN Charter that emphasizes peaceful settlement of disputes. I am sure the international community and our people will have their own opinion of China's action.
Taiwan is monitoring China's military drills by watching the movement of China's rocket force. Calling China's move irrational and provocative, Taiwan's defense ministry said that it has raised the alert posture on outlying islands and called the exercise an attempt to jeopardize the security situation in the Taiwan Strait.
The consensus of the international community is to maintain peace and stability across the Taiwan Strait and the region. China should respect the existence of Taiwan, respect the people's choices of a free and democratic way of life, refrain from military provocations, and threaten the peace and stability of the region as well as the democracy and freedom in Taiwan.
Is keeping close eyes on movements of China's rocket force. Alert posture raised on outlying islands and aircraft. Ships have been responding to hostile situation in accordance with the rules of engagement.
The United States of America, meanwhile, said that the Biden administration is monitoring the PLA exercises around Taiwan. The Biden administration, in a statement, urged the Chinese government to avoid any further actions that may jeopardize peace and stability across the Taiwan Strait and in the broader region. It further said no justification for military exercises and pressure campaigns in response to a routine annual speech. The U.S. reiterated its one China policy has not changed. The U.S. said it opposes unilateral changes to the status quo from either side and support cross-strait dialogue. The U.S. further said that it expects cross-strait differences to be resolved by peaceful means. Still to come on this edition of DD India Live. 2024 Nobel Economics Prize announced by the Royal Swedish Academy of Sciences. We'll tell you who backed the top prize. Li Qiang lands in Islamabad for the SEO summit. This is the first visit by any Chinese premier to Pakistan in more than a decade.
Complex issues, hidden agendas, twists and turns, strategic games. We think all dots are linked. We just need to connect them. Join me every week as I connect the dots to unravel hidden designs in statecraft, mysteries, and decode issues that matter to you. Watch Connecting the Dots with me at these times on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I am Tanvi Taneja. Daron Acemoglu, Simon Johnson and James Robinson won the 2024 Nobel Economics Prize for studies of how institutions are formed and affect prosperity. The announcement was made by the Royal Swedish Academy of Sciences on Monday. The prestigious award is the final prize to be given out this year and is worth 11 million Swedish crowns or $1.1 million. The Economics Nobel Award is not one of the original prizes for science, literature and peace created in the will of dynamite inventor and businessman Alfred Nobel, and the first awarded in 1901, but a later edition established and funded by Sweden's central bank in the year 1968. At the UP Diaspora Investor Meet held at Dubai's India Club and jointly organized by Invest UP and UPDF Diaspora, investors expressed interest across multiple sectors. Following the investor meet, thousands of UP expatriates gathered at the Iranian sports complex, eager to hear about Uttar Pradesh's development journey from the UP's Minister of State, Independent Charge Ravindra Jaiswal. Acting on Minister Jaiswal's advice, the UPDF Dubai Cultural Forum announced plans to publish a collection of stories about successful Indians and UP expatriates in Dubai who've made their mark globally, aiming to inspire young Indian entrepreneurs through their shared struggles and experiences. On to Pakistan now. In a first visit by any Chinese premier in more than a decade to the country, Chinese Premier Li Qiang landed in Islamabad on Monday ahead of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization summit scheduled this week. India is one of the 9 full members of the organization. The 23rd edition of the summit will be held for 15th to 16th of October, ahead of which Pakistan has announced 3-day public holiday in the capital for security reasons. North Korea has warned Seoul of a horrible disaster if South Korean drones are found flying over Pyongyang. North Korea's artillery units near the border have been ordered to be ready to fire. North Korea has blamed South Korean military for the practice. It has also been floating balloons with trash into the south in reprisal. On Friday, North Korea accused South Korea of sending drones into Pyongyang at night this week and last said that the intrusion demanded retaliatory action. Meanwhile, South Korea neither confirmed nor denied it, however, warned of severe consequences. South Korea's military spokesman claimed North Korean troops were working under camouflage to blow up roads near the west and east coast border of South Korea. Last week, North Korea's army said that it would completely cut roads and railways connected to South Korea.
We have identified covers being set up on roads with work being conducted behind them. Preparations are being made to blow up those roads. It's possible that this could happen as early as today, and as North Korea has publicized, they may proceed with the explosions.
Updates next on the West Asia conflict. Israel's military said that a Hezbollah drone had killed 4 soldiers at one of its northern bases on Sunday. The attack on a military training camp near Haifa is the deadliest such assault on an Israeli base since September 23rd, when Israel increased its attacks on Hezbollah in Lebanon. Emergency services reported more than 60 wounded. The incident occurred reportedly after the Israeli military detected 5 projectiles launched from Lebanon. Sirens were activated in several regions, including Galilee, Haifa Bay and Carmel. Hezbollah late on Sunday said that it launched a squadron of attack drones at Israel's Binyamina camp. The strike was in response to Israeli attacks, including airstrikes on Thursday in central Beirut. In a later statement, Hezbollah warned Israel with more attacks if its offensive in Lebanon continued. The United States is deploying an advanced U.S. anti-missile system known as Terminal High Altitude Area Defense, or THAAD missile battery, along with its military personnel to Israel. It is a highly unusual deployment meant to bolster the Israel's air defenses following missile attacks by Iran. Pentagon spokesperson described the deployment as part of the broader adjustments the U.S. military has made in recent months to support Israel and defend U.S. personnel from attacks by Iran and Iranian-backed groups. But a U.S. military deployment to Israel is rare outside of drills, given Israel's own military capabilities. A THAAD battery usually requires about 100 troops to operate from the ground. It counts 6 trucks-mounted launchers with 8 interceptors on each launcher and a powerful radar. The launched weapon can achieve a speed of 6,300 miles per hour and it has a range of 200 kilometers. Other specifications include its mass, which is 900 kgs. It has a length of 20 feet and 3 inches. The booster has a diameter of 13 inches, while the kill vehicle is 15-inch broad. It deploys kinetic kill technology, which destroys missiles by colliding. Lockheed Martin, the biggest U.S. arms maker, builds and integrates the THAAD system, which is designed to shoot down short, medium and intermediate range ballistic missiles. Raytheon under RTX builds its advanced radar. The Pentagon said that a THAAD was deployed to southern Israel for drills in 2019, the last and the only time it was known to be there. In Bangladesh, a Muslim-majority nation, vast crowds gathered under heavy security to celebrate the Hindu festival of Durga Puja. Sunday marked the joyful climax of a week-long festival of prayers and celebrations, despite recent attacks on the Hindu minority following the ouster of leader Sheikh Hasina. Now, one of the largest car shows in Europe opened on Monday in the French capital, making up for a fifth of the total brands in the show. 9 Chinese models are set to unveil their latest models at the event. Paris Auto Show, opening amid tough competition. So that's all for this edition of DD India Live. Do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. Connect with us on our different social media handles. And for those on the go, you can catch all the latest news and updates from India and the world on our DD India mobile app. So we will be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Tanvi Taneja. From all of us here in New Delhi, thank you for watching. Namaskar.